Good morning. So this video is about asymptotes. Okay, so asymptotes, here you can see the formal definition from your book, but asymptotes are basically imaginary lines that the graph approaches but never crosses. Okay, you have a vertical one. So vertical asymptotes are the imaginary lines. We usually do dotted lines to show it like this, and it is always going to be an x equals. Horizontal is going to be a dotted line like this, and it is always going to be a y equals equation. So for example, for this one, you have the graph. It shows it. Not all the time do we see the dotted line on your graphing calculators on Desmos. It's not going to show it. You're going to have to look closely to see where does the graph look like it's approaching but not crossing. So, because if I was to take away these red lines, which I can't really take them away, but if I was to take those red lines away, you would have to just look and see that where that red line is, it's approximately where they are getting close to, but not crossing. So for this one, you have one horizontal. We'll start with the horizontal because that is a little bit easier. And that horizontal is at -2, so we say y equals -2. So that's your horizontal asymptote. You have two vertical here, and you say both. So we would have x equals, the first one is at -2, and the second one is at +2. Now these asymptotes are what causes those unions of our domain and range. For example, because of these two, my domain would go from -infinity until I hit that first one, -2. Then I'm going to have a union. I'm going to have to go from -2 to 2, and another union, and then from 2 to +infinity. So it's a very complex domain because I have two spots that I can't be. This is interval notation. Set notation, you could say x is not equal to -2 and x is not equal to 2. So it's all real numbers except x equal to -2 and x equal to 2. So you could say that, but a lot of times, especially as you start transitioning towards calculus and college level math, you should understand how to write interval notation. Again, if you're putting things into your book is very big on interval notation. So learning how to write interval notation is very important. Your range is a little bit easier to write because it's just going to be one of them. So we're going to go from -infinity to that first horizontal asymptote, union, and then the -2 to +infinity because I don't have another one. So that was a little bit easier. We're going to find out next unit when we get to rational functions that it is very easy to tell your domain from your function itself. And the range, you always are, for the most part, going to look at your graph. There's a little graphic organizer type thing I could give you with scenarios and to look at it. But for range, for most of our functions, it's going to be very beneficial for you to look at the Desmos graph before deciding your domain and range. A main goal of pre-calculus is to know how to find the domain by looking at the equation. That was the whole video on implied domain. Try the problems now. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.